go racing. Eagle Raceway, just 10 miles east of Lincoln on O Street. Check out the full schedule at eagleraceway.com.
This is Bill Mitchner, Executive Director of Lincoln Lighthouse. Did you know Lighthouse provides multiple programs for students such as one-on-one tutoring and mentoring, as well as pro-social skill exercises, while providing them a nourishing meal and a safe space during all months of the year, even during school breaks? Learn more or contribute to Lighthouse at lincolnlighthouse.org today.
Ticket listeners know a dream team when they see one. At Applied Connective, we've been in the game for 20 years and have developed a team of world-class leaders in all things IT. From cybersecurity and Microsoft products to physical security, audio-video, infrastructure, business phone systems, and anything in between. We'll help you leverage technology to become your most secure, efficient, and profitable. Head to our website to check out real reviews and testimonials and sign up for a free tech consultation. We can show you where you might be vulnerable, inefficient, or overspending. It's a game changer, and it's totally free. Claim yours right now at appliedconnective.com.
Midwest Bank is now hiring in Lincoln. They have multiple banking positions open and are looking for dynamic individuals passionate about helping others and building relationships. With a family-friendly culture, competitive benefits, and unique perks, Midwest Bank is a great place to start a new career. Apply today at midwest.bank. Midwest Bank is an equal opportunity employer, member FDIC.
John Henry's has a brand new membership club to protect your entire home in one program. With a VIP and a deluxe option, we will help you find the plan that best fits your needs. Receive discounts on services and equipment, priority service, complimentary inspections, and so much more. Protect your home's plumbing, heating, cooling, and electrical systems all in one membership. Call John Henry's to learn more.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
And electrical.
Make plans to attend the Nebraska Whiskey Carnival this Saturday at Sideshow Spirits in Lincoln. This unique one-day festival highlights Nebraska distilleries, local vendors, and chill music. A general admission ticket gets you a custom tasting glass and free samples from the distillery booths. Food trucks will be on site to sell food and snacks, and cigars will be available for purchase. Get your tickets today at sideshowspirits.com. It's the Whiskey Carnival this Saturday from 3 to 6 p.m. at Sideshow Spirits at 16th and P.
At Allo, we go beyond internet, bringing you faster speeds backed by an all-fiber network. We go beyond TV and phone service, delivering reliable, crystal clear connections. We go beyond customer service with local teammates and no robots for a hassle-free experience. We go beyond value, offering transparent prices with no contracts, hidden fees, or data caps. We even go beyond our office doors by working, hiring, volunteering, and living in the communities we serve. Go beyond fiber. Sign up today at allofiber.com.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with the child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting lincolnteammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
This is On the Block with Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland. Nebraska Football Hall of Famer, Jay Foreman. Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This is On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
Oh, yeah. Welcome to it. A full show on a Tuesday. That is right. With you 2 hours, 3 to 5 before teammates timeout. Austin Orman and E. Strick. Brought to you by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Special ingredient butcher shop with 3 Lincoln locations and 1 up in Omaha. They got every type of meat. They got every type of cut and more. Go check them out. Again, 3 Lincoln locations and 1 up in Omaha. E. Strick, what's up, baby? How we doing?
Keith Sweat had a song back in the day.
I don't like to age myself, but I know you're
35. You're 35.
you're a youngin. You're a youngin. You know what I mean? But he said this: I want to go outside in the rain. That's what's going on outside. There's a lot of rain outside today. I went to the gym though, but it's looked like it's going to be one of those days. Also, it's just not going to stop. I don't know what's going on down there in Lincoln today, but definitely up here, it has not stopped. It has been going since last night, pretty much. So it's one of those days. It's a rain on the parade of the Husker baseball team. Obviously, the way that they went out, we didn't get to really talk about that too much. They got a lot of things rain on them, unfortunately, but it is part of that situation. And there's I was looking back at just how some people got offset out of the playoffs. Unfortunately, it rained on their parade. Boston, it rained on them with the loss of Tatum, but also they've got to figure something out with a lot of shooting, and they weren't raining threes. Ant-Man and his crew went out the same way. Softball went out with a hard one. It's just one of those days. It feels like the rain is just coming down on all of us right now.
And especially on Tom Thibodeau. We will get to that to lead off hour 2. We got to have a full discussion on that. There's a lot, I think, that goes into that decision by Leon Rose, by James Dolan, and the Knicks. So know that we are aware of that, and we'll certainly talk about that in depth to lead off hour 2 of the show. Coming up at the bottom of the hour, we'll have Tom Chattel of the Omaha World Herald stop by. He'll conversate with us about a lot of those things that Stricky was talking about. And Nebraska football picked 6th in the Big Ten, according to ESPN's Football Power Index. Who's ahead of the Huskers? Who's behind them? Do we believe it? We'll get into that and more in hour 2. 402-464-5685. Riley W. says, Austin's womp womps have been top tier lately. You know what? Not everything has to be a womp womp. But when you can break it out at the right time, there's just nothing like a womp womp. Too bad. So sad. Sometimes you mean it. Sometimes you don't. It's versatile. It's no pause. I'll tell you that much. It's not as good as Stricky's pause. But if I'm going to be known for something, maybe it's the womp womp. We'll have to see. Not a womp womp, Stricky. Texas Tech, the softball team, the Red Raiders wreck Oklahoma's chances at a 5-peat. Now they have to settle for only 4 NCAA championships in a row. It was a 3-2 victory for Texas Tech. They led 2-0, gave up a 2-out, 2-strike home run to the Sooners to tie it before walking it off later in the game. And that's all cool. Good for them. They'll take on Texas for the national championship. But of course, the story for Texas Tech, Najari Kennedy. Stricky, how about this? Going into last night, she had thrown 362 consecutive pitches for Texas Tech. Pitched every pitch of the Super Regionals and the Women's College World Series. When she was at Stanford, she threw a bunch of pitches for them consecutively as well. So going into last night, 671 consecutive pitches that Najari Kennedy had thrown for her teams at the Women's College World Series. She does it again last night, goes the distance in 7 innings. She throws 106 pitches as Texas Tech walks off Oklahoma there in the bottom of the 7th inning. But Stricky, that's all impressive. That's really cool. We know just how good Najari Kennedy is. But of course, she came with a price tag, right? The $1 million NIL deal that Texas Tech gave her. The Red Raiders have certainly been loading up in terms of the NIL fund and what their collective's been able to do. They pay her $1 million and it works out. They win their first conference title. They get to the Women's College World Series, and now they're playing for their first national championship in school history. So first and foremost, hard to say Najari Kennedy was not worth it for Texas Tech. It's pretty incredible just how much, bang for the buck the Red Raiders have gotten out of her right arm.
I mean, so this is we haven't, maybe we have. There's been others that have done it at this level, Austin, the way that, thrown a high volume of pitches. It's obviously it's not a record, so that's something to also think about. So that there's others that have done it at even a higher level. But here's what I'm saying. That's the beautiful thing about not volleyball, but softball, is that it's an underhand throwing, so it doesn't put the same amount of torque and strain as to why you don't need as much rest. Now, that's not to say you still don't physically have to prepare yourself, whether it be your legs, your body, your hips, your your biceps, your arms,
Your
all
core.
of the punishment, your thighs, because when you throw change ups there, you don't throw them the same way. You don't circle it. You kind of bump it against your thigh to allow it to, do what it does to take the speed off of it. So there's different areas. So you have to still be in tip-top shape to be able to do what she's done. But now you spoke to something, is there was a big price tag. I mean, to knock off the 4-time defending champs in the Sooners, that's a phenomenal feat. But here's the thing. You can tell that they knew and understood who they were getting.
Mm-hmm.
There's been an ROI already on that investment, because just not only the volume, she's got high consecutive pitch count. She's thrown dang near all the games that mattered. And so that's what you paid her for. And you're getting that return. It's when you miss and you pay that amount of money and you don't get the return is where it hurts, especially that Texas Tech has decided, let's be real. Texas Tech's got money too, because anytime you're down in that that's that oil rich area. Lubbock is a small town. It's not much to it, but at the same time, they do got some people that's got some financial bread down there. So, a lot of those Texas teams are going to be able to do that. It's just a matter of how they do it, and they've got to be good at what they're doing, especially their assessment of players. And it's my understanding that some of the players that have been acquired down there, even another one at Texas Tech. There was, gosh darn, my mind just drew a blank, but there was another player that they actually used Cerebro Sports, which is the company I also have an ownership in. They use Cerebro Sports, the coaching staff, because they have it. And they were able to go to their booster base and their collective, because the collective was like, why are we paying? Who is the player I'm talking? He became a star for them. Came from a small college, but he was a star for them this year.
Talking about
basketball.
Toppin or Williams?
Toppin.
Jacob Toppin.
Mm-hmm.
Or JT.
They had to try.
JT. Mm-hmm.
Right. They had to try to justify. So they used Cerebral Sports to talk to their donor base to justify the investment, and it worked out for them. You see what I'm saying? So there are teams that are using methods and means, even like our the company of Cerebro. They're trying to figure out to make sure that when they are assessing players and when they're presenting it to them, it's got to make sense. But you can't just continuously come out here and just throw money against the wind as if you're walking into the club, as if you're the beer, and just that don't work no more. It don't work.
No, it doesn't. And I think when you look at Texas Tech too, they do have money. They don't have exactly a rich history of success, right? They've had some good, interesting coaches down there at times, right? I mean, you think about football with Spike Dykes back in the day. Mike Leach was obviously there for a while. You think about baseball's had some better teams. Basketball has certainly been on the come up, to your point with McCaslin now, Chris Beard before that for a while. You think about Bobby Knight coaching there at the end of his career. So it's not like Texas Tech is nobody and nothing, but Strick, for a school with no real history of success at the highest level, deciding to make an investment like this in a player like Kennedy or Toppin, to your example as well, it's risky because, yeah, maybe they have a lot of money, but it's probably not A&M level money, right? And there are probably more expectations at A&M. So I think that there's two ways that these schools with maybe lesser history can go. Number one is, well, we've never really succeeded, so we're going to be hesitant, right? We're not going to go all in because it's never worked out for us before. Why should we believe that this year's any different? We'll spend a little bit to see if we can get lucky and luck into it, and then let the chips fall where they may. Or the flip side, like Texas Tech, who says, we have enough money. We feel confident in our advantages and in our scouting, so we're going to go all in. Now is the time to change the narrative. We have the money to do it. We're going to go get some of these upper tier players, and nothing's going to stop us. It's always a risk. You never know for sure what a player is going to be. But Najari Kennedy was the closest thing to a sure thing in college softball. She's lived up to the hype. And I wonder, Strick, if more schools in Texas Tech's position with maybe more cash on hand than outsiders would think when you look at a school like that initially, I wonder if more schools like Texas A&M will see their success and say, you know what? Why can't that be us? We're going to go pay one of these top players. They're going to come in and they're going to change things, at least for a year, hopefully 2 years. And then maybe their impact can set us up as like a launching pad for things to come.
Well, again, I think they've embodied the, the Red Raider 2 guns up.
Wreck 'em.
They said, you've seen the movies. Some of you, the listeners, 402-464-5685. You've seen the John Waynes. You've seen the Tombstones. You've seen the movies when they walk into a saloon, they assess the situation. Aha. I think I see Billy the Kid over there. I'm going to test his metal. You know what I mean? And now all of a sudden, it's a battle for, for the supremacy of the gun. And that's how Texas Tech, they've got to be frugal about it. Like you said, they've got money, but they can't just throw it around. Mm-hmm. So they're reminding me of the OKCs of the NBA. They're reminding me of really good programs that are making sound decisions, not like Indiana, who just threw money at the wind as far as basketball. We got it. So we're going to toss it to whomever we think wants it or needs it. We're not doing deeper dives to really assess if this is a good fit, because it's got to be a fit. It's not only got to be a skill. Caleb Love, bounced around, a couple times. Has it really paid off? Can people say that yours has paid off? Some people, it just depends on how you're looking at it. But they're frugal about it. And I think they've made really good decisions, because I really think Toppin helped them take them to another level on the basketball side. And then you look at Canada, and she's taking them to another level. So the program, I think, is being mindful, but also making sound decisions by way of evaluation.
Now the question, though, Strick, is obviously it's worth it for Texas A&M softball to get Najari Kennedy and pay her this money. But is it worth it for more and more of these schools?
You mean Texas? I just want to say, I thought I heard you say Texas A&M. You mean Texas Tech?
Texas Tech. Sorry.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay.
Yeah, no, you're right. For Texas Tech to go in on a player like Najari Kennedy to get her, it's great. But then you contrast that to, say, Texas A&M on the other side, where A&M, Strick, is going all in on football, where you got to spend a lot to make a lot, right? I mean, if you're not going to spend money in football or men's basketball, you're not going to get a whole lot. A&M is clearly invested in baseball. But again, in terms of their investment in baseball, it's in line with other SEC schools. And okay, good for them. They were preseason number 1. They fell back to the pack. I'm going to be really curious to see, Stricky, how many schools decide that these, quote unquote, non-revenue sports, as we've gotten used to calling them, right? Your softballs, your volleyballs, maybe soccer, lacrosse for some other places. I would be curious to see if it's still worth it for these schools to put their resources toward, those sports as opposed to football, basketball, the big money earners. I think it's good for those sports that it's happening, and I hope it continues. I worry that boosters will say, okay, yeah, that was fun, but we're not getting our money back from Najari Kennedy, right? It's just an expense. We're not seeing a true return on investment, for us. Now, I know there are, probably some rich people with money to burn. Maybe it's a write-off. I don't know exactly how the system works, because I'm not sure anyone does. I hope we continue to see more investment in players in these, again, quote unquote, non-revenue sports. But I wonder how many schools will say, yeah, it would be nice to be good at that, but why would we allocate $1 million to that sport when that's another $1 million we could put in the coffers of football?
Now, here's where I'm going to put my tinfoil hat on.
Please.
I'm gonna be like, you see, I'm bald headed. I ain't got my hat on today.
Right.
There's a movie called X-Men. What's my guy's name that put the thing on and he would go in the Cerebro?
Professor X.
Professor X. Right. I'm gonna do my Professor X right now. I'm gonna put my little hat on. We sitting in Cerebro and we about to just kind of see some things.
Let's see something.
here's where I really think things are going to potentially head. I think all of these are litmus tests, test cases, whatever you want to, trials, to kind of assess the real direction of where it's going, because it's really quick, fast, and in a hurry, leaving the amateur space. It just is. It just is the way that it's going. As you just said, as you just alluded to in your previous statement, you said that there are going to be people, boosters, billionaire, whoever, that are affiliated, connected. There was a thing, there was a reason to why there was a connection before. It was access, okay? Now there's a lot more pull because there's a lot more at stake. So it used to be, I like to, shoot, I'll put a little bit of here. I get my name on the field. Maybe this locker room. It was a way to garner favor, access, connection, that they would do it just out of the love, and maybe they went to school, all of that, right? Now what you're starting to see is there's a hard pull every year. And like you said, when they look at it and they start to look at their businessmen, a lot of them, or in some form, they're businessmen, they're looking at their P&Ls and they're like, wait a minute now. The math ain't mathing. It ain't adding up. Now what you're starting to also see is their evaluations on universities. Why did they do that? Why did they put that out there in the ethosphere? It's because they want you to start considering, if I decide to want to be an investor, a smaller way in which I can get involved with a group, a large group, become invested, and now we get some of that sharing of the revenue. Okay, if I'm going to be, an owner, maybe you want to break down your ownership. Maybe it is, I want to own a portion of the non-revs. There's a reason why. Maybe it's, he just says, I want to own a portion where there's a higher stake for the football. If you're Texas, if you're Alabama, if you're Ohio State, there's a high, that's valuation's a little bit higher. Now, if you want to be in basketball, it's a different stake than if you're Kentucky, than if you're Nebraska. You know what I'm saying? So now the investments then would be able to be streamlined between the specific people. There's your valuation. There's a distribution. Now you can look at your P&Ls and say, oh, shoot, at least I got something out of it. The team was successful this year. Oh, wait, who you investing in? Let me go do my research. Okay, I can see that. Now we can have those real discussions, and it becomes more business-like, because we see that there's not as much funding. States are not as, states are still involved, but there's still these back and forths, and they can pull the plug. It's all types of stuff now. You better start looking at another avenue in order to keep the cash cow rolling. I didn't mean to break that all down in a long form, but I really had to, pour that out the way that I needed, that I heard it in my head.
No, I think that makes a lot of sense. And it's always been, to some degree, the way of the world that football and basketball subsidize a lot of what the athletic department is doing. And of course, Strick, I think let's point this out. With what these schools are making in TV revenue, just alone, that should be enough to subsidize every athletic department pretty much for the end of time, right? If we're talking about the Power 4 level, Big 10, SEC, Big 12, and ACC, right? Those schools, with what they make from TV, if you can't find a way to operate more programs in a healthy way, with that remaining, I guess, for the ACC and the Big 12, $15-ish million, and for the Big 10 and the SEC, 30.5 to 40 plus $1 million. If you can't operate, the rest of your varsity programs within that budget, you got a spending problem. It's not that you're doing too much in terms of offering opportunities for young student athletes, because that's great. We should want opportunities for student athletes. That's great. We should see investment into softball, into volleyball, into other sports across the country. But when you get so caught up in football makes the money, our men's basketball team is good, it brings in NCAA tournament units, so those are the programs that deserve investment. some of those programs can fall by the wayside. Every business has its things that are profitable and the other things that it does because it's the right thing to do, that you're going to go into a year and lose a little bit of money on. But how can you reduce the loss? For Texas Tech, I don't know if they ended up breaking even. I would doubt it. Not many programs like that do end up breaking even. But even with $1 million they pay Najari Kennedy, I'm sure they got closer to breaking even this year than they did in years past, right? Nebraska softball had its highest attendance with Jordy Ball, as Brad points out, right? They sold out Bolin for the first time. I don't know what the numbers are for Nebraska or for Jordy Ball, but if you pay for a player like a Jordy Ball, like a Najari Kennedy, even if you don't break even, you're not going to suffer the same loss because you're going to get people excited to come out. And every drop in the bucket, that you get from concessions, from tickets, from attention, from extra games played in regionals, super regionals, and for Texas Tech, the College World Series, that's more and more drops in the bucket that get it closer to filled up and shows you that, hey, if we keep investing at this level, maybe we still lose, but we're not losing as much or as fast. And then you add more on top of it as media rights expand.
Yeah, I think what you want to make sure that you're doing as well is you want to do internal weighing of the scales. You want to do internal weighing of the scales, meaning you want to be able to look at where you are, what you have, you determine a niche on what we're going to follow. Mm-hmm. And then you you can't do it each year. I think you want to do it each couple of years, maybe 2-3 years, or in a cycle. You maybe 3 to 4. Maybe you don't have enough time, I guess, as a coach now. So it's probably got to be a couple of years. So as a coach, you want to look at it and weigh out, okay, is the way that we're looking at this work? Is this niche, meaning we're going out and finding great mid-level guys that we don't have to necessarily break the bank. We don't have the money to compete with some of them. So we really got to go find our Bryce Williams and, our rink mass types and so forth and so on. We got to find a gym like a Keisei Tamanaga. Yeah, we understand that athletically they're not going to be a Terrence Shannon Jr. They're not going to be, that type of player. But in the meantime, in between time, if we can amass a team built on character, I think we can compete. You see what I'm saying? So then you figure out, okay, is this plan working? And then you can decide how you approach boosters or how you approach the program. I don't feel like you're giving me what I need to be said. This is about the furthest I can take you. That finds us in the 7th, 8th place in the Big Ten. What do you want us to do? And I would go to my superiors and have that conversation. Like, what else do you want me to do? Like, I'm giving you everything I got. Right. I'm going to need more in order to compete. Here's what this player, here's what this topic, here's what this, he came from here. You can run down a great list of players, have that discussion with the group, show them what the returns were on that. If you gave us access, now you can say, at least give me an opportunity to get to 5 or 4. And we may not ever get to the top. That's okay. But let me run a shot to get us up to 2 or 4 or 3 in the conference. Yeah. And you can have those discussions. Right now, this just is so hard to weigh. And I really think, again, Nebraska has become complacent. And it's going to be a time where the fans are really going to bow out. It's going to come a time. If you don't, I like to think we're similar to Cowboys fans, man. But there's going to be a time, though, they're going to get tired. They're going to get tired. And this is why I think right now the program is trying to do a lot of smoke and mirrors. They're trying to do – and it's good, doing some enhancements at the stadium, minimizing some of the issues there. I still think they haven't taken advantage of some creative ways to be able to engage with fans and do different things like that. They still haven't taken care of maybe, if I want to have a sip, I might want to have a beer. They lost a lot of fans to Creighton in basketball, not only their success, but because fans feel like, that's what they call themselves, Jayskers. Fans felt like they can go into a basketball arena, sit down, have a brew after the game, and it could be their happy hour. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying that as a whole, but I'm saying that those are facts of the matter. There's, you got to figure out ways to get ahead of those curves.
No, I think you're onto something. Let's Let's take a pause right there. We got an interesting comment on our text line from Brad. We'll hit that coming up at 3:45. We're going to step aside, have a conversation with Tom Chattel of the Omaha World Herald. That's next during On the Block.
Follow Austin Strick and On the Block on Twitter at Austin Orman, eStrick20, and On the Block 93.7. More of On the Block coming up.
Ticket listeners know a dream team when they see one. At Applied Connective, we've been in the game for 20 years and have developed a team of world-class leaders in all things IT, from cybersecurity and Microsoft products to physical security, audio-video, infrastructure, business phone systems, and anything in between. We'll help you leverage technology to become your most secure, efficient, and profitable. Head to our website to check out real reviews and testimonials and sign up for a free tech consultation. We can show you where you might be vulnerable, inefficient, or overspending. It's a game changer, and it's totally free. Claim yours right now at appliedconnective.com.
The end of the school year is drawing near, which means graduation parties are coming soon. Are you prepared for hosting? Führer's Cheese Spread is the dip that brings everyone together to celebrate graduations and the close to a great school year. And it goes well with crackers, meats, soups, and more. How could you consider throwing a party without it? Get to your local grocery store today and load up on Führer's Cheese Spread. No graduation party is complete without it.
Make plans to attend the Nebraska Whiskey Carnival this Saturday at Sideshow Spirits in Lincoln. This unique one-day festival highlights Nebraska distilleries, local vendors, and chill music. A general admission ticket gets you a custom tasting glass and free samples from the distillery booths. Food trucks will be on site to sell food and snacks, and cigars will be available for purchase. Get your tickets today at SideshowSpirits.com. It's the Whiskey Carnival this Saturday from 3 to 6 p.m. at Sideshow Spirits at 16th and P.
At Allo, we go beyond internet, bringing you faster speeds backed by an all-fiber network. We go beyond TV and phone service, delivering reliable, crystal clear connections. We go beyond customer service with local teammates and no robots for a hassle-free experience. We go beyond value, offering transparent prices with no contracts, hidden fees, or data caps. We even go beyond our office doors by working, hiring, volunteering, and living in the communities we serve. Go beyond fiber. Sign up today at allofiber.com.
Midwest Bank is now hiring in Lincoln. They have multiple banking positions open and are looking for dynamic individuals passionate about helping others and building relationships. With a family-friendly culture, competitive benefits, and unique perks, Midwest Bank is a great place to start a new career. Apply today at midwest.bank. Midwest Bank is an equal opportunity employer, member FDIC.
Hey Husker Nation, this is Todd Euler, two-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or visit our website at windowworldlincoln.com. Window World Lincoln, where quality meets affordability.
Saturday. Eagle Raceway is open for a full season of dirt track racing action every Saturday night. Don't miss the epic battles on the high banks of Eagle Raceway each Saturday between the Nebraska Septic Sprint Cars, Nebraska Lottery Modifieds, Avid Realty Sport Mods, Valentino's Hobby Stocks, and A1 Iron Stock Cars. Let's go racing. Eagle Raceway, just 10 miles east of Lincoln on O Street. Check out the full schedule at eagleraceway.com.
Now back to On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
Welcome back to it. It is On the Block. I'm your host, Austin Foreman. E-Strick and Jay will be along. Right now, though, we're headed to our Allo Fiber VIP line. That's where they understand the importance of exceptional service with local heart. We bring in the man from the Husker Football Hour and, of course, lead sports columnist of the Omaha World Herald, Mr. Tom Chattel. Tom, good afternoon. How are you?
Good. What's going on today?
Oh, a lot. Strick and I were just talking about Texas Tech knocking off Oklahoma in softball. And let's start with, Najari Kennedy, right? One of the big NIL ads for Texas Tech. Clearly, she and Jordy Ball were worth it for their respective teams as Nebraska makes it to the Super Regionals. Texas Tech now in the Women's College World Series finals. But, Tom, as we look at the rev share era and how NIL might play into it, a team like Texas Tech, a school like Texas Tech, not a lot of historical success in a lot of sports. They've had their moments where they've popped up. Do you think that Texas Tech and what they did with Najari Kennedy is going to be an example and an inspiration for more programs to say, hey, you know what? This, non-revenue sport is one that we want to invest money into. That's going to be our niche. So we're okay investing in it. Or do you think we're going to see more programs say, yeah, we'd like to be good in these other sports, but you know what? With every dollar we spend in football, we think we can get a bigger return on investment. Do you see Texas Tech as an example or maybe as a warning for teams?
Yeah, I don't know because I don't know I know what life is like now, but I don't know what it's going to be like after the House settlement.
Sure.
My hunch is that every dollar that's available is going to have to go to the sports you care about. And now, what those are, I don't know. Every school is going to have to pick. That's sort of the beauty of this of the rev sharing era is that you can pour money. Players are going to get a lot of big money, but not all of them are, and not every sport is going to. And it's going to be interesting to see. Now we've seen some of these college baseball teams with the big player budgets are going home today. So it isn't fail proof, but yeah, I think. Look at Mississippi State just did. They're obviously want to win football. I think everybody is going to try to do that. But then after football, I don't know. Mississippi State is not going to give money to volleyball or probably men's basketball. I don't think Iowa is going to do much with men's basketball. I think they're going to try to take care of their women's program. I mean, you have to choose, and that's kind of what I wrote about today. What is Nebraska going to choose? I don't know that it'll be baseball.
Nebraska baseball, of course, makes a regional, goes 1-2 with both losses coming to Oklahoma. If Nebraska is not going to invest in baseball, Tom, if you think that that's on the outside looking in terms of the circle of investment, should Nebraska baseball fans just get used to this sort of 500 or slightly above record and then hoping to qualify for regionals? Or do you think that Nebraska baseball can become a program that does more with less and consistently wins 40 games without that level of investment that fans might want in it?
Yeah, well, I don't know that Nebraska is not going to invest in it. What I know is they have to win in football. They have to win in volleyball. They've never treated men's basketball like a sport that they had to have. They've kind of thrown money at it, but it's never been something that is a year-round obsession. Baseball is kind of the same thing. But yeah, I don't know that I think you just have to look at the conference you're in. I don't think a lot of schools around the country are going to give a lot to college baseball. That's why I think college baseball is a real interesting place. I think it'll be an afterthought for a lot of ADs, especially in the Big Ten. I mean, I had this conversation with Cal Peterson a few weeks ago about the Big Ten, and he flat out said with the West Coast teams in now, and they have so much talent, and they don't honestly, they aren't throwing money. They aren't throwing a lot of money at that talent. They live in California, and that's where they want to. That's where they want to go to school. So, but Kyle said he flat out said some of the Big Ten schools are going to punt on college baseball, and what he meant by that was they're going to drop the program. They're just not. They're just going to have a program, and I just think that Nebraska's in a really tough spot because they're in a league that doesn't care about baseball. There's not a lot of a competitive fire there. Saw this wacky tournament format this year that made no sense. They don't know what to do with baseball. Excuse me. The West Coast schools do. The West Coast schools, Oregon and UCLA, just hosted regionals. I don't think I've ever seen the Big Ten with two that hosted in the same year. They may have one once in a while that hosted, but not very often. And these two did not play great non-conference schedules. What they did was they won a lot of games and they had a lot of talent. So, can Nebraska do that? Yeah, I think they can, but they've got to find a recruiting niche. They've got to get better, and whether that's in Texas, which is hard to do if you don't play games in Texas, or somewhere. But certainly the players in Nebraska and around the Midwest are good baseball players, but it's just a different level in the South and the West. So, when are fans going to get used to? I don't think fans are ever going to get used to anything. They're going to, the baseball fans are always going to want to host and move on forward, but it's the margin of error is going to be very small. They're not going to have a big RPI probably, and they're probably going to be 3 or 4 bids every year in the Big Ten, and they're going to have to fight the West Coast for those bids. So, will fans have to settle? I don't know. We'll see. I think they already they kind of already are settling. I mean, and it's certainly Will Bolt is I think he's done a good job. I think they have done a lot in 5 years. They just people measure baseball around here by, are you hosting? Are you going past the regional? And they haven't been able to do that. But so I think there's work to be done there.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think there's a lot of the top, the elite baseball programs have got stuff. They've got like a pitching lab. I don't know what that is, but that's the rage now. They've got locker rooms where teams can eat their meals and training facilities and this and that. And I've been told by some people down there a while ago that the baseball indoor facility in Nebraska was already too small. When it was built, it was too small. So, you go into Nebraska's offices; they're kind of cramped. It's kind of it worked for a long time, but everything grows in sports, and so. But I think, Austin. To me, volleyball is going to be the clear number 2.
Yeah,
and the reseeding of the Devaney Center is the sign, a signal that they want to use volleyball to raise a lot of money, and they're going to pour back into volleyball. So, it'll be fascinating for guys like us to watch how this develops.
And to volleyball's credit, it's self-sustaining, right? It's broken even and then some. So it makes it really easy to say, hey, this is a program that we can invest in, when they know that whatever they pour into it, they're going to get back on the other side. You did bring up, the Nebraska baseball thing, Tom. We were going to get there, but the highest remaining seed, the highest rated team left in the field is Dave Van Horn's Arkansas Razorbacks. Is this the year for Dave Van Horn? The same question we've asked every year since he's gotten to Arkansas. Do you think the Omahogs can come through?
Well, he's got the team, but you need luck. You need to stay away from injuries. You need the right matchups. They've got Tennessee. They maybe the hardest super regional assignment of any of them this weekend. But yeah, they got the team, and but they'll have the fans here. The fans will all be here, and we need SEC fans here. We don't. The other schools don't travel nearly as good as the SEC does. They just sort of turn downtown Omaha into their own little SEC baseball town. It's fun. It's alive. But yeah, I think they've got every angle, and I've heard college baseball media people say this the last month or two, that this is his best team and his best chance. So We'll see. He kind of let it slip the other night when he was shaking hands with Ed Service Sunday night. He said, "I'm not far behind you." So I don't know what that means, but he's always thinking about retirement,
which would be well deserved. I mean, he's done a great job in Nebraska and Arkansas. Last one for you, Tom. Omaha got about 2 weeks of Jack Caglione, shooting star in the night. Your expectations for Cags, as they call him, with the Kansas City Royals?
Well, it's obviously he's talented, and he's got stuff that others don't have. He sees the ball. He's so powerful. If he squares up on it, it's going to go 10 miles. But he's going to see pitching. He's going to see strategies. He's going to see things he hasn't seen before. So I think it'll take a year for him to adjust everything. But he's, is he going to be, a top 5 player in the world? I don't think right now. Maybe later, but something like that, an all-star I don't know. But he's got a chance, and I just think it's funny the Royals fans think it's all going to flip starting tonight, and I don't know if that's true. I watched him last week here, and he hit he had good contact on a lot of pitches, but he also struck out and hit some ground ball outs, and so he didn't dominate here. Again, the night Saturday night he was 1 for 3 or 4 or something like that. He doesn't take a lot of walks, but yeah, he's so talented and he's so polished. He's really smooth. He understands where he's at. He's not overwhelmed by anything. I think going to college baseball and playing at a high level really helped him there. So it won't be too big for him. But they're going to put a lot of pressure on him. They're going to expect him to get right in and start knocking home runs and turning the Royal season around. But so there will be some pressure. But if you're a Royals fan, it's very exciting. He's that good.
I tend to agree. As a Royals fan, I'm trying not to build up those expectations too far in my head, but we'll certainly see. Tom Chattel of the Omaha World Herald, thanks a ton for your time. Great to catch up with you, sir. Hope to do it again soon.
Thanks, Austin. Have a good summer.
That's Tom Chattel, again, of the Omaha World Herald, with us here on our Allo Fiber VIP line. Allo is where they understand the importance of exceptional service with local heart. One more segment to go in hour 1, then Stricky and I are breaking down the Tom Thibodeau firing by the New York Knicks. Come back for that and more as we continue on the block.
Download our app by searching for 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day wherever you are. More of On the Block next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Saturday. Eagle Raceway is open for a full season of dirt track racing action every Saturday night. Don't miss the epic battles on the high banks of Eagle Raceway each Saturday between the Nebraska Septic Sprint Cars, Nebraska Lottery Modifieds, Avid Realty Sport Mods, Valentino's Hobby Stocks, and A1 Iron Stock Cars. Let's go racing. Eagle Raceway, just 10 miles east of Lincoln on O Street. Check out the full schedule at eagleraceway.com.
Make plans to attend the Nebraska Whiskey Carnival this Saturday at Sideshow Spirits in Lincoln. This unique one-day festival highlights Nebraska distilleries, local vendors, and chill music. A general admission ticket gets you a custom tasting glass and free samples from the distillery booths. Food trucks will be on site to sell food and snacks, and cigars will be available for purchase. Get your tickets today at SideshowSpirits.com. It's the Whiskey Carnival this Saturday from 3 to 6 p.m. at Sideshow Spirits at 16th and P.
The end of the school year is drawing near, which means graduation parties are coming soon. Are you prepared for hosting? Führer's Cheese Spread is the dip that brings everyone together to celebrate graduations and the close to a great school year. And it goes well with crackers, meats, soups, and more. How could you consider throwing a party without it? Get to your local grocery store today and load up on Führer's Cheese Spread. No graduation party is complete without it.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with the child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
John Henry's has a brand new membership club to protect your entire home in one program. With a VIP and a deluxe option, we will help you find the plan that best fits your needs. Receive discounts on services and equipment, priority service, complimentary inspections, and so much more. Protect your home's plumbing, heating, cooling, and electrical systems all in one membership. Call John Henry's to learn more.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
And electrical.
Hey Husker Nation, this is Todd Euler, two-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or visit our website at windowworldlincoln.com. Window World Lincoln, where quality meets affordability.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today. We'll see scattered showers throughout the day. It'll be breezy and cool with an afternoon high near 63. Tonight, partly cloudy skies with a light breeze, a low around 50. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly sunny skies and calm winds. An afternoon high around 77. I'm meteorologist Kyle Fletcher for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is Bill Mitchner, Executive Director of Lincoln Lighthouse. Did you know Lighthouse provides multiple programs for students such as one-on-one tutoring and mentoring, as well as pro-social skill exercises, while providing them a nourishing meal and a safe space during all months of the year, even during school breaks? Learn more or contribute to Lighthouse at lincolnlighthouse.org today.
At Allo, we go beyond internet, bringing you faster speeds backed by an all-fiber network. We go beyond TV and phone service, delivering reliable, crystal clear connections. We go beyond customer service with local teammates and no robots for a hassle-free experience. We go beyond value, offering transparent prices with no contracts, hidden fees, or data caps. We even go beyond our office doors by working, hiring, volunteering, and living in the communities we serve. Go beyond fiber. Sign up today at allofiber.com.
Midwest Bank is now hiring in Lincoln. They have multiple banking positions open and are looking for dynamic individuals passionate about helping others and building relationships. With a family-friendly culture, competitive benefits, and unique perks, Midwest Bank is a great place to start a new career. Apply today at midwest.bank. Midwest Bank is an equal opportunity employer, member FDIC.
Ticket listeners know a dream team when they see one. At Applied Connective, we've been in the game for 20 years and have developed a team of world-class leaders in all things IT. From cybersecurity and Microsoft products to physical security, audio-video, infrastructure, business phone systems, and anything in between. We'll help you leverage technology to become your most secure, efficient, and profitable. Head to our website to check out real reviews and testimonials and sign up for a free tech consultation. We can show you where you might be vulnerable, inefficient, or overspending. It's a game changer, and it's totally free. Claim yours right now at appliedconnective.com.
Now back to On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
Thanks to Tom Chattel for joining the program in our last segment. Check out Tom's work on omaha.com. Let's bring back in Omaha's very own E-Strick. A couple things to get to from the text line here, Strick. We'll start with Brad. He said, you're telling me Nebraska couldn't outbid Gonzaga for Davis Fogel. So for those of you who might not know, Davis Fogel is a wing kind of in that Price Sanford mold. 6'7", 185 out of Chandler, Arizona. Went to Compass Prep, same school, funny enough, as Koa Pete, who Nebraska was in on at least early, and then he ended up committing to Arizona. Looks like he'll be a freshman starter for them. But Strick, I always go back and forth on stuff like this because on the one hand, maybe it's about the money, right? And you'd like to think Nebraska could outbid Gonzaga for a prospect that they really wanted. On the other hand, what else does Gonzaga invest in except for men's basketball? They've chosen their lane. They've invested in it, and they have, a longer track record of putting out pro prospects. I mean, especially that wing position over the last handful of years. So maybe it was about the money. Maybe it wasn't, but it's hard for me to blame a kid for picking Mark Few, Gonzaga, and that coaching staff as a wing compared to Nebraska, who's certainly improving, but Gonzaga has a longer track record right now. So I don't necessarily know if I would say money is the only reason Nebraska didn't get this guy.
Yeah, listen, it's very similar to what's going on at Creighton, right? Creighton really they have their sports niche is, volleyball is on the come up. And that and the beautiful thing about, let's just say across the board, from the NAIA levels in Nebraska on up through, your Creighton, your doggone Omaha, University of Nebraska, Omaha, they are the beneficiary of just similar to what Texas or Florida is in football. They're the beneficiary of, this is a hot spot for volleyball. Let's just that helps them tremendously. But Creighton is a beneficiary as far as they understand who they are. They don't have to fight against football, and they can create a system that makes a lot of their lower tier guys equal. So it makes you feel like you're part of. They've just kind of come up with this way of distribution, and then you have your top tier guys that have just a little bit more. I think that's how it works. I heard it's, there's a baseline where pretty much everybody gets the same, and then you go up from there. But anyway, they don't have to fight that same battle. Same thing with Mark Few. He doesn't have to battle against football, a football program, so forth and so on. So on top of that, you're able to really stay in your lane. Now there comes responsibility with that as well. And this is why I think they don't want to leave and go to a bigger conference. This is beyond. They understand who they are. They understand what they are, and they understand that I have to compete. Now, they're not competing at the same level, I don't believe anymore, because it's harder now, because there's other programs that can get in the game with you. It's not all about prestige and all this stuff now. So you got to compete against top tier programs and tougher conferences, and conferences can get up with you now. So as conferences get better across the board in their conferences, it makes it a little bit tougher for you to kind of fight being the top tier guy in this conference. And that's the responsibility that you've taken on. But then all of a sudden, if you don't get there, people start looking at you with the side eye a little bit differently.
Which is starting to maybe happen, right? Gonzaga's been fine, but not the same level that they were, 5 to 10 years ago. So maybe some of that's already happening for Mark Few. We'll have to see. Last thing then before we go to break, Shock Dog, Eric, and Brad, really appreciate y'all texting in. But this is from 5606, who says, I would find it hard not to choose to prioritize wrestling as one of the non-revenue sports based off their recent success here at Nebraska.
Yeah.
That's where I think it's going to be really interesting, as Tom was saying, to monitor, because clearly it's football number one. I think I agree with Tom that volleyball's number two at Nebraska. And then number three, I don't know if there is a clear-cut number three. I think it should be
bowling.
Right. I mean, it's certainly been successful.
Bowling?
Right. I don't know. Track and field's been good. Gymnastics,
they've been good too, especially indoor. Yeah.
Baseball seems to, and softball, right? You hope those are headed in the right direction. And that's where I think if you look holistically, Nebraska has a bunch of programs that are successful. They're on their way to one of their best Directors Cup finishes ever, which looks at, the totality of sports. How well did you do? And Nebraska is going to finish, I think, in the top 15, top 10. I don't remember the exact numbers, but that's where it gets tricky, where there are some schools that are one-trick ponies, where they don't really care about Directors Cup, and they just pour all their resources into that one sport like Gonzaga. But for Nebraska, would they be better off, at the start of this, house settlement era that seems to be coming down? Should they say, we're prioritizing football, volleyball, and these three sports to really split the big chunk of our money up to? Should Nebraska pick one and go all in on, men's basketball all of a sudden, or softball all of a sudden, or wrestling all of a sudden? Because it'd be great if Nebraska would be able to sprinkle money around to all these programs to keep them at such a high level. But there are going to be other universities that specialize, right? That say, this is our best, quote unquote, secondary program. We're going to put the vast majority of our, quote unquote, extra resources toward this program. And Nebraska has great coaches in all these other sports outside of the big ones that we always talk about. So it's really not fair to any of them to cut off their funding or their support or not be invested in them. But it wouldn't necessarily be surprising if other schools go all in on one of those sports and they start to pass Nebraska from an investment level and down the road end up overtaking them because they chose to specialize in that.
That's where they got to make a decision. Like, do we want to be holistic and have it all across the board? And but I've learned this lesson, and it was brought to me by my coach. And I know we got to get out, and I won't be long. But in a nutshell, what my coach told me, he's like, Strick, I think you can be a hell of an MLB player. I also think that you could be a hell of an NBA player. I think you're a good enough athlete. Shoot, I even think you probably could play in NFL. And then he says, which in my mind's eye, I was like, yeah. And then he says to me, he says, but you can do a lot of things good, but you need to focus now. You know what I mean? Like, they were trying to get me to switch hit, but I wasn't getting enough reps. I could switch hit, but I wasn't there long enough. So they said, focus on the left side.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So you've got to depend on what do you want to hang your hat on and have everybody to know you for. Mm-hmm. Because right now Nebraska doesn't have anything that they can hang. You only have the history of football. You can't look at football and say, yeah, this is where we can hang our hat. Yes, within the state boundaries, you can say that. But wherever I go places and I travel and they're like, yeah, where you from? Oh, yeah, I live in Nebraska. Oh, okay. Huskers. Yeah. I went there too. But oh yeah, back in the day that's all they say. Back in the day. There's a point where you've got to be sick and tired of somebody telling you that they're reminded of you of your past.
Right. From back in the day to present day to today. Yeah. Not a present day for the New York Knicks and Tom Thibodeau. They make the move on to their next head coach. Who could it be? What went into their decision? We'll hit that when we get back to On the Block.
Follow Austin Strick and On the Block on Twitter at Austin Orman, eStrick20, and On the Block 93.7. More of On the Block coming up. This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and digital insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Hey Husker Nation, this is Todd Euler, two-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or visit our website at WindowWorldLincoln.com. Window World Lincoln, where quality meets affordability.
Schwizo Construction is now hiring for skilled craftsmen, steel erectors, concrete workers, and general laborers. Schwizo Construction offers great benefits like premium wages, health and dental insurance, paid holidays and vacation, 401k with company match, life insurance, and disability insurance. They pride themselves on a legacy of 40 years built on integrity and trust. Joining their team means becoming part of a family that values hard work, dedication, and mutual respect. Apply today at schwizo.com. That's SCHWISOW.com. Take control of your health with the DASH scan at Advanced Medical Imaging. The DASH scan is a full-body MRI designed for advanced health screening. This dynamic approach provides exceptionally sharp images across multiple organ systems, helping to detect potential concerns early. With minimal radiation and no invasive procedures, the DASH scan offers a safe, comprehensive look at your health. Plus, results are delivered faster than ever, giving both patients and physicians confidence in screening and diagnosis. your health is too important to wait. Schedule your DASH scan today at Advanced Medical Imaging. Visit amimaging.com or call 402-484-6677 to learn more.
It's never too late to start protecting your company's data from cyber attacks. Your customers put their trust in you to keep their information safe from online threats. Don't let them down. Partner with Hamilton Business Technologies to get real-time threat monitoring, advanced security protocols, and experts who monitor it all for you. We care about the success of your business and the communities you serve. Hamilton Business Technologies. Real people, real technology solutions. Connect with us at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
This is On the Block with Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland. Nebraska Football Hall of Famer, Jay Foreman. Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This is On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
That it is. Welcome in hour 2 of On the Block. Lots to get to here in this hour. We'll lead off with Tom Thibodeau's firing by the New York Knicks, talk some Husker football, and I'm sure plenty more over the course of the next 57 minutes or so. Big thanks to the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese for their special ingredients, for being the best butcher shop around, and for having every type of meat, every type of cut, and of course for sponsoring On the Block and Old School here on The Ticket. Stricky, let's just start with this. Your reaction to the New York Knicks letting go of Tom Thibodeau.
Oh, listen, can you hear me? Okay. Yeah, that's tough. It's tough when you the thing about basketball, Austin, especially at the NBA level, is this. The ones that really take the brunt of the blame is going to be the coach, unfortunately. Now, in this instance, I have to throw a lot of that on Tom Thibodeau for the reason that they are literally continuously going with that short lineup. And when we look at both of the teams that have now moved on, it's an investment in your bench. Because I think that let me try to figure out a way to say it. Okay. Have you ever played the game Risk?
Oh yeah.
Fun game, right?
Yep.
If you feeling me, 402-464-5685, give me a game to where you may be able to tie into what I'm saying. Here's why I say that. In Risk, you kind of pick where you're going to start from. You try to maybe take over a country. You try to block off all avenues in order to make sure that you can't get trapped, or if you want to get somewhere else, you have means by which to do it. So you want to try to be in a place to where you can move or you can enter in somewhere else, giving you multiple options to do so. Okay. When you shorten your bench like that, you kill options. You basically put yourself on Madagascar, or you put yourself in Great Britain, and you try to secure that as your space, right? Or you're way up in Siberia trying to do something way up there, right? You limit your abilities to move because you really only got. So when you're trying to make adjustments, when you're trying to make some changes, when something's going wrong, you still got to rely on that because you have nothing else really you're confident in or you can go to, right? That's what Tibbs put himself in a position by sticking with this short bit. Same thing with JJ Redick, and he took a beating for it.
Yeah.
Tibbs took a little different beating, but JJ Redick got it too. But you've got to be able to have moves. And as we've seen, Indiana, as well as OKC, they've given themselves a treasure trove, and it depends on which way they want to play. How are they playing us? How can we combat this? So we've got multiple ways and multiple guys in which we can throw at it to either make changes or make adjustments or so forth and so on. Oh, he's not hot today. Okay, I can trust in this guy to get it done. That's what he stuck in Jeff Van Gundy 2.0 mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it ultimately cost him his job.
To your point about the bench, there were 9 players who played at least 50 games in the regular season for the Knicks. Landry Shamet averaged 15 minutes in 50 games, no starts. Other than that, Stricky, the Pacers, sorry, not the Pacers, the Knicks, of those other 8 guys that played at least 50 games, or 7 of them averaged 20 minutes. 7 guys averaging 20 minutes a game in the regular season. That's not a lot. And I don't have the playoff numbers pulled up here, but one of those guys was Cam Payne, who played 72 games, 5 starts, averaged 15 minutes. So you look at Mikal Bridges, 37 minutes per game. Josh Hart led the league with 37.6. OG Anunoby, 36.6. Karl Anthony Towns, 35. Jalen Brunson, 35. That's heavy minutes in the regular season for those guys, especially with what Tom Thibodeau demands of them. And to his credit, it worked. I mean, they won 50 games again, right? Consecutive 50-win seasons for the first time since the 90s under Tibbs. Made the playoffs in 4 out of his 5 years in charge. Trying to find the other one, right? I mean, 2 50-win seasons in 5 years. The other 21 years for the Knicks in the 2000s, also 2 50-win seasons. So Thibodeau, what he did, Strick, to me, from this side of things, it seems like he raised the floor. It is really what he did, right? He got them respectable. He got them consistent. But do you think that Tom Thibodeau could become the coach that would push the Knicks over the edge into legitimate championship contention? The Knicks are saying they don't believe that. What say you?
I think the methodology in today's game with speed and time that it takes to get into plays, length, I think you wear yourself out. Like they have all these different concepts, like what is it? Where they don't play for a certain amount of time. What do they call it? I forgot.
Load management.
Load management, right? So they have load management, and they have all these different things to make up the difference for. But it's still, with those type of situations, it doesn't work. You want to have guys that you can count on. They never use campaign. So now here's what happens. There's a level of frustration, and it happened with me too. There's a level of frustration that you have where you know you could be of help, but you just consistently are stuck in this method. And they don't work you in. So now when they try to call on you, you don't have no rhythm, you don't have no confidence, you don't have no mental acuity. All of these things go out by the wayside, and now all of a sudden they're expecting you to do something. And the expectation is warranted because you're a professional. But at the same time, the system can wear you down so much that it doesn't allow you to be able to be ready at any given time or any given moment. Mm-hmm. And then even if you do show up, like Shamet did in a couple of instances, came in, played really well, right back to the side. And it's frustrating because then now you don't, there's no continuity on when it may come for me. You know what I mean?
Right. And I think the other part of it, too, is Tibbs had his guys, which is understandable, right? Every coach has...
Van Gundy was the same.
Right. Mm-hmm. Your point, Jeff Van Gundy 2.0. But, Strick, when you find a lineup that works, a combination that works, and then you don't go to it until your back's already against the wall, down 2-1, down 3-1 in the Eastern Conference Finals, that's almost too stubborn, right? Maybe you want to understand why a lineup works. You want to understand the chemistry and everything that goes into it. Sometimes you won't, though, right? I mean, Deuce McBride was really solid for the Knicks. Maybe deserved a little bit more run. Josh Hart is probably best as a bench guy, but he got a lot of starts. I mean, he started all 77 games in the regular season, right? That's maybe a guy who's a good energy piece off the bench. But you look at Mikal Bridges, who this year shot 35% from three, has been better than that in his career. Karl Anthony Towns, 42% three-point shooter. Jalen Brunson, 38% three-point shooter. Even McBride down at 37%. OG Anunoby, 37% as well. Tibbs fell into the Mike Woodson trap. The Knicks, despite those good shooters, only shot 34 threes per game, which I know some people say, well, that's a lot of three-pointers. Why are you taking that many? That was 27th in the league. For a team of good shooters to handcuff yourself. And part of it's by playing slow, right? That's their style, grind it out. So maybe they'll have some artificially depressed numbers. But the basketball people that I read and trust said a lot of the same stuff that I was hearing about Mike Woodson at Indiana. It's not a modern system. You're not leaning into what the game is now or the strengths of your team. There's no reason a team with good shooting like the Knicks have, there's no reason that they should have been playing, that style on offense that they were. And then I'll go to this from Hardwood Paroxysm, who I follow on Twitter, refer to him a lot. He says, Tibbs was the perfect coach for last year's Knicks team of psychopaths. Then Leon Rose et al. Elected to try and build a serious team with star power. It was a different challenge. It was a ragtag bunch for the Knicks last year. Jalen Brunson, whoever else wanted to hop on board. They trade for Anunoby. They trade for Towns. They get Bridges. Those are guys with legitimate, prowess and name among them. They're Strick. And, I think Tom Thibodeau is probably at his best with a bunch of misfits, right? Guys that he can get to play that junkyard dog style. But I also, at the same time, don't think that this was a Jalen Brunson move. I don't think Jalen Brunson said, I'm tired of playing defense, get Tibbs out of here. I really think this just came from the front office, and it's hard to dismiss a coach who's won, 50 games back-to-back years, more playoff series in the last, 5 years than you've won in a decade plus. But at the same time, you can also talk me into it making a little bit of sense if the Knicks think that they can get someone else who raises their championship ceiling.
Yeah, I think it's that. I think it's also, like you said, having an understanding of the way that the game is played now and how to take advantage of that. Mm-hmm. How to, I'm going to be honest, Knicks basketball looked like old school Knicks basketball. Mm-hmm. Some people like that. Some New York Knicks fans, they probably like that, not necessarily the same defensive way that they play, but it's not a problem. But it looked like Knicks style basketball. And this is why sometimes you saw those grind out games. That's why they like to have those games come down to the end, because they know they had one of the best clutch shooters in Jalen Brunson. Mm-hmm. To go and get him a bucket to win a game for him, right? But I look at this team and I really do say, I think they're looking for a coach that, with this group of guys, basically it's Villanova, relived, right? Reloaded, Villanova reloaded. Mm-hmm. So you maybe want to look at a coach, maybe, or someone who understands that dynamic, that chemistry, is willing to expand and find. I have to check out what their draft status is, but to find some a combination of complementary players to come in and fit in. I think they're cash strapped, to be honest. It's tough to have. Now Brunson took a little loss. He did a Tom Brady and like others, he took a little loss. But you still got Bridges on a big contract. You got Hart, that solid contract, Anunoby, big contract, and you also got Cat on the biggest contract. So I don't know if they got anywhere to go. I think they hit second apron, or they're definitely teetering on second apron. Mm-hmm. And so that mid-level, that $14 million mid-level may not be available to them, but they really only need complementary players anyway. They need a couple. So maybe they'll be able to find a couple. Maybe they'll draft well, but they're going to have to do really good in that department in order to enhance this team. I don't know who the tradable asset. Probably the best tradable asset is going to be Brunson. I think someone would definitely take Anunoby. I think his contract right now is just a little too fresh. Is probably my belief. He might be another year or two away. Hart's contract is probably more manageable. He reminds me of Caruso a little bit. So I think a good, bridge guy for him, not a contract that's going to kill you. And I don't think anybody can take Cat's contract right now. There are a couple teams out there that probably could do it, but I don't know if they may be the fit for them or not. So where do they go? That's going to be the question that we're going to find out this summer real soon.
So Anunoby signed an extension when he got to the Knicks, 5 years, like $212 million. He'll be entering year 2 of that.
That's what I'm saying. He's too fresh.
Option. So that's super fresh. pretty expensive for a guy who's a good 3-and-D player, but probably not a $42.5 million average cap hit type of player. So interesting move there from New York. While we're on the draft really quickly, Strick, the Knicks just have a second-round pick this year at number 50 overall. Next year, they have 2 first-rounders and 2 second-rounders. Their second first-round pick is protected 1 through 10 via a trade with Washington, and no protections on their second-round pick. So they have more flexibility next year in the draft than they do this year. One final note on the financials. The Knicks gave Tom Thibodeau a 3-year contract extension through 2027-28 that reportedly guaranteed him $30 million. Well, guess what? He didn't even see that extension. The 3 years would have been 25, 26, 26, 27, and 27, 28. They give a guy an extension just for him not to coach a single year of that extension. So now you're paying the $30 million as buyout, as salary.
And guess what he's saying? Gotcha.
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 Yeah.
No. Here's hence this. Hence, this is why I think they made the move now. Knowing that they really don't have anywhere that they can go, knowing that Tibbs is pretty much stuck in his ways. There's nowhere there. It's going to probably look very much the same. Mm-hmm. So let's get somebody in here prior to what we've got going on. Let's see if we can get them to get the most out, get the best out. Get some of these frustrated. Because I'm telling you, some of those guys that have been sitting on the rail are frustrated. They are frustrated. And if Tibbs comes back, it's in their mind's eye. If they have multiple-year contract and they're not leaving, in their eye, in their mind, they're basically like, here we go again. So maybe raise their bar. I mean, that's really the only thing that they can do. Kind of just raise the psyche of the team collective and hopefully get the most out of them for this next year until they can really step into the game and hopefully make some adjustments and changes.
Got a kind of funny comment on YouTube here from Bada Bing. Did Karl Anthony Towns get Tom Thibodeau fired twice? Once in Minnesota and now in New York. Again, I don't think that this was necessarily a player-led decision. And I don't think that was bad, right? I think we just have to re-examine how we think about Karl Anthony Towns. He's kind of in that same boat as Tyrese Halliburton. When they're on, they're on. And to be clear, I think Halliburton's a better player and more of a foundational piece than Karl Anthony Towns.
Oh my God.
I don't know. I don't want to put it on Cat. I don't think he was necessarily the problem. I think this is a good spot to take a break. I want to keep jumping off on this. I think there's a lot more to get to. Two really
Stay on the block.
Yeah, stay on the block with us. That's what we are. We're here on the block. Brad and Gus Mohawk have 2 really good questions on our Starter Heyman Jewelers text line. Let's take our first break of the hour. We'll keep talking about Tom Thibodeau's firing from the New York Knicks. What does that mean for the franchise, for the players, and who could replace him? That's what we'll get into in our next segment of On the Block.
Download our app by searching for 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day wherever you are. More of On the Block next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Load up on meat and more this summer at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This week's special through June 3rd is $1 off per pack on Plum Creek chicken, $1 off all bacon, and 15% off cheese and crackers. Locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, or 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town. Take control of your health with the DASH scan at Advanced Medical Imaging. The DASH scan is a full-body MRI designed for advanced health screening. This dynamic approach provides exceptionally sharp images across multiple organ systems, helping to detect potential concerns early. With minimal radiation and no invasive procedures, the DASH scan offers a safe, comprehensive look at your health. Plus, results are delivered faster than ever, giving both patients and physicians confidence in screening and diagnosis. Your health is too important to wait. Schedule your DASH scan today at Advanced Medical Imaging. Visit amimaging.com or call 402-484-6677 to learn more.
I'm Karen Carr. I've been a realtor for 31 years. When I made a company change 12 years ago, I chose Lincoln First Realty, now NP Dodge. It's the oldest independently owned realty company in the country. Since becoming NP Dodge, we've continued our tradition of community involvement. Our management and staff are always available to offer support in marketing, technology, social media, and educational opportunities.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Copple Chevrolet GMC, and they're having the biggest hail sale they've ever had. A huge opportunity is at your front door right now. Some of these cars we're fixing, some we're not, and some it's totally up to you. New Sierra starting at $15,000 off list. New Canyons at $8,500 off list. New body styles on the Acadias, $3,000 off list. You need to hurry as there's going to be a lot of people heading to Louisville. Check us out at copplecars.com. Stock numbers G121492, G187747, and G196599.
Schweizo Construction is now hiring for skilled craftsmen, steel erectors, concrete workers, and general laborers. Schweizo Construction offers great benefits like premium wages, health and dental insurance, paid holidays and vacation, 401k with company match, life insurance, and disability insurance. They pride themselves on a legacy of 40 years built on integrity and trust. Joining their team means becoming part of a family that values hard work, dedication, and mutual respect. Apply today at schweizo.com. That's SCHWISOW.com.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more. Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
It's never too late to start protecting your company's data from cyber attacks. Your customers put their trust in you to keep their information safe from online threats. Don't let them down. Partner with Hamilton Business Technologies to get real-time threat monitoring, advanced security protocols, and experts who monitor it all for you. We care about the success of your business and the communities you serve. Hamilton Business Technologies. Real people, real technology solutions. Connect with us at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Nebco is hiring CDL drivers for ready-mixed concrete in Lincoln. With 3 plants across the city, there are plenty of opportunities to start or grow your driving career. They offer great pay, medical and retirement benefits, paid time off, and they cover the cost of CDL training. Apply today and receive a $2,500 hiring bonus. Since 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today with ready-mixed concrete. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's NEBCOINC.com.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today. We'll see scattered showers throughout the day. It'll be breezy and cool with an afternoon high near 63. Tonight, partly cloudy skies with a light breeze, a low around 50. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly sunny skies and calm winds. An afternoon high around 77. I'm meteorologist Kyle Fletcher for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Now back to On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
Talking more about the Tom Thibodeau firing here on the block. Austin Norman, Eric Strickland with you. Thanks to Heartland of Nebraska Windows for their sponsorship of our 4:30 segment every day. They're based out of Hallam, Nebraska, and they offer a free estimate, full window replacement, all vinyl triple pane windows, and a lifetime warranty on everything while keeping their prices affordable. We know the Nebraska weather, right? You get rain some days like this. You get unbearably hot days probably sometime in the next couple days. Lots of wind. Lots of snow. You want to make sure your home is protected to keep your energy costs down. You go talk to our friends at Heartland of Nebraska Windows, 402-430-3852, or visit them online at heartlandofnebraskawindows.com. All right, Trick, I want to get to Brad's text first. And Brad is our resident Magic fan. We get this all the time from him. He says, trade Karl Anthony Towns to Orlando, which is funny because Brad's our Magic guy, but also I don't hate it. Would you, if you are Orlando, give up Franz Wagner, who kind of forgot how to shoot the last couple years, that New York would want as a secondary playmaker behind Jalen Brunson, for Karl Anthony Towns to help stretch the floor around Paolo Banchero, because the Magic were one of the worst three-point shooting teams in the NBA last year?
Give me the names again.
Orlando receives Karl Anthony Towns. The Knicks receive Franz Wagner.
I actually think that works, and I think that's something that's needed. I think someone who can stretch that way but also be physical, can get into the paint. I still think they're very heavily loaded at the guard position. They need to move some of those guys. I think they actually overpaid probably some of them as well. So not overpaid to where they're like stuck in a rut. They can still do it. I just think it's got to really wait till they get down towards the tail end. I think Anthony should be coming up to an end of his. Suggs is probably still middle of his, and I think they've got one more there. But I think they need a big man.
KCP, just last year. KCP last year.
Yeah. So he's their 3-and-D guy. But that sounds good. I mean, that sounds workable. And I think the Knicks would be the issue with the Knicks though is there's not, outside of Mitchell Robinson, there's not much physicality, and he's not really a threat. That Karl Anthony Towns threat is a little bit different. Now Wagner gives you a little bit of a dynamic, but they're still weak in the front court. And so I don't know if you pull the trigger on that for Franz. Tell me another place that you think Franz would work.
So Franz Wagner next year is set to make, looks like $38 million. Karl Anthony Towns is set to make 53. So you're looking at a $14 million difference between the two. Brad throws in another name that would help the Knicks in the front court, Wendell Carter Jr., who's making $18 million next year. So 38 plus 18 gets you to 56, with Karl Anthony Towns making 53. That's pretty close to the margin of error for one of these trades. I think Orlando, you would probably try to keep Mo Wagner then as a backup center. Towns, probably a power forward is his best spot, along with a rim protecting center. But I think Paolo Banchero is probably best at the 4 in terms of mismatches. I don't think he's a 3. He can play there in some bigger lineups, but I think playing the 4 would help Paolo Banchero get more efficient, where he can be kind of that key hub, that key playmaker. I think Orlando's probably a guard away, but they need shooting more than anything, regardless of where the shooting comes from. I think Franz Wagner's really good, but I think that he's a little redundant with Paolo Banchero. And New York just needs someone to take some pressure off Jalen in the regular season as well. They need a running mate in the backcourt with him, but if you can get a front court playmaker in Franz Wagner, if you can get a kind of rotational big man in Wendell Carter, I think you have to do that if you're both sides. I think it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it does make sense, and they do need to make a move. I think you cap strap yourself. If you can get 2 for 1, especially in a season where you really don't have much you can do outside of a second rounder, you really don't have much that you can trade. You're not trading Brunson. I think you like the group that you have. You probably can't double trade after what you gave up to get Bridges.
Woo.
it doesn't work. So yeah, you might try to work a 2-for-1, and I think that makes sense. Now, whether it gets done is another thing.
Now, the next question then, and this comes from on our Starter Heyman Jewelers text line, Gus Mohawk. We got to turn to the replacement for the New York Knicks in their head coaching position. A couple names I think jump to the front of mind, if not the front of the list, Stricky. Leon Rose comes from CAA, where he used to be an agent. A couple of CAA coaching clients are out there waiting around for their next job. Mike Malone and Mike Budenholzer. You like either of those guys for the Knicks opening?
More Malone than Budenholzer.
Is Malone too close to Tibbs 2.0?
I think Malone can be adjustable. You saw what Malone was able to do with being crafty in the usage of guys like Brown and KCP and the way he was able to maneuver and use them. I think he's a little bit more creative in his usage. The key is going to be watching where Giannis goes. That's going to be something to watch for.
Mm-hmm. No, I think that's spot on. Do you think? I mean, Giannis was the one that helped push Budenholzer out, which means if the Knicks want him, they're probably not going to go get him. At least I would think. And I like Malone better too. I think you're right. He's probably a little bit more adjustable, and I think he'd be good to continue kind of that culture that Thibodeau built, because I think Knicks fans really appreciated what Tibbs did in making a team that New Yorkers could identify with. Malone's not going to be a pushover, right? He's kind of the my way or the highway guy. Didn't trust a lot of the young guys that were on that Denver roster, and that led to him and Calvin Booth being at odds. But then, Strick, we have to turn our attention to the college ranks that the Gus Mohawk asked about. You mentioned the familiarity with just recreating Villanova in the pros. Could this be the job that gets Jay Wright out of coaching retirement and into the NBA?
It depends on if he has an itch that he wants to scratch. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I think it really depends on that. Jay has done very well for himself. I think if it was a monetary situation, he might jump the boogie, especially looking at what they just gave away to Tibbs, and he didn't even touch. He might say, "Well, shoot, let me scratch this itch and go on in here." They're already my guys. He can feel comfortable with that. He know he's not going to have to deal with locker room issues. But the only other person outside of him, if you're going to look in that college ranks, would be Hurley. Would be the only other person that I would say that could handle that type of situation.
Would you like it for Danny Hurley? Would you like it for the Knicks if that's the route they choose to go?
Well, obviously, Danny Hurley has a number in his head, and look. The number is the same. It is way different being in Connecticut than it is being in New York.
Now, the Connecticut's a low tax state by any means, but it ain't.
Not that it is, but it ain't that. So, if the numbers if it's making sense, and I mean dollars making sense, he might up jump the boogie.
I think the Knicks job.
That's why he didn't go out there to LA.
Right. I think the Knicks job makes a lot more sense than the Lakers job ever. Yeah. The Lakers went after Coach K back in the day, and there were rumors that he was relatively close to taking that job. I'm more and more convinced that Danny Hurley wasn't close to taking the Lakers job. I think that was an information finding interview. I think the Lakers were much more interested than Danny Hurley ever was. But
it leveraged him. It leveraged him too, Austin. To get the money over there. He's smart.
Mm-hmm. His agent's smart. Because think about last offseason, Danny Hurley leveraged the Lakers job and the Kentucky job.
Yeah.
To get that raise at UConn. And that's just business savvy 101, right? If someone wants to interview you, you take it. As long as you tell your AD, I'm probably coming back, but you understand that I want to take these interviews because of who's asking, right? It's the Lakers. It's Kentucky. And even if you tell your AD, I'm probably coming back, that's why you mix in that word probably, That's why your agent says, make it worth his while to come back. Strick, I'm not going to lie. I think losing Danny Hurley would be pretty catastrophic for college basketball. Danny Hurley has really put himself in the forefront of that conversation in terms of, next crop of college basketball coaches. He's a character that you pay attention to. He's going to be in the news. He's recognizable. I think college basketball would be worse off for Danny Hurley going to the pros. But I do think he did have at least some legitimate interest in taking that Lakers job of what would it take to get into this down the line. We know the Hurley family, the work that's been done up there in New Jersey in the prep ranks, what Bobby did at Duke coaching there too. But I do think Danny Hurley being able to go to the NBA as a coach to stick it to his family and say, look, I was the overlooked one and I made it further as a coach than you guys did. I think Danny Hurley thrives off that sort of stuff. I think it'd be wildly entertaining, but I honestly think that him sticking at UConn is best for college basketball. Can the Knicks make it worth his while? We'll see. But the fact that we've brought up all these big names, right? You look at the Mikes, Malone and Budenholzer, Jay Wright with the Villanova connection to his players, even Danny Hurley, his status in college basketball. What we're seeing, Strick, is that New York has gotten better as an organization when it hasn't gone star hunting. When it stopped trying to sign the big name guy, just for getting the big name. Phil Jackson didn't really work out when they went and got him as a coach, right? We know the Knicks were
Isaiah Thomas,
right? They couldn't really sign anyone in their prime to go with Melo when he was there, right? Tyson Chandler maybe didn't work out. Amari Stoudemire had a fun year, and then injuries sprung up and got him. What we're seeing in the NBA, Strick, I think, over the last handful of years is fewer and fewer of these big-name coaches are getting that next shot, right? Look at the Nuggets. They let Mike Malone, one of the most respected coaches in the NBA, go for a first-time assistant in David Adelman. The Suns let go of Budenholzer, and I couldn't tell you the names involved in their coaching search. It has been so quiet on that front. Maybe the Knicks go the quieter direction and find an assistant, to get their first shot. That, to me, would fit what the Knicks have done in resisting the temptation to go for the big name because we're the Knicks and we can pay them. Maybe they continue their evolution as an organization and say, we just got to go get the best fit in a modern basketball mind, as opposed to let's put butts in seats with a big name star head coach.
I think I don't know where he's at. Look this up. Find out where Sam Cassell is.
He's with Minnesota.
So I think Sam Cassell he's in New York, right?
Celtics.
He's with the Celtics.
Boston.
I think Sam Cassell is one that could probably be next up. I think he's good enough. I think he's he's relatable. He's very good at handling himself. Now, he may just not want it. He just may just like to be a good assistant. So we don't know for sure. But I think the thing to watch is if LA misses their window. Because they're going to have to make a decision, because you've got to feel that LeBron has a decision to make. If he opts into that $58 or some $59 million contract, they're done.
Screwed. Over.
They're done.
Mm-hmm.
If he pulls a Tom Brady and takes he's a billionaire already. So, it just really depends. You're going to find out really what LeBron is all about right now. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because they're going to hit second apron, meaning they won't get that mid-level exception, because that's what they need more than anything. They can't find a player on that team for $5 million that can help them.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're going to turn, because also you've got to hope that Austin Reeves, who's going to opt out because he's at 15 now, he's looking to that 30 range.
Right.
So you're going to there's all types of things that's weighing on the minds of that executive team now that they're going to have to weigh out. And it's really depending on what happens with LeBron James as to the direction that they go. Because when you hit that second apron, you can't send players out and take back less.
Right.
So there's restrictions on what you're going to be able to do. So that's something to watch as well. as to what the half-anointed king decides to do.
It'll be certainly interesting to follow. I did look it up just to see who's involved in Phoenix's coaching search. It's a couple people from the Cavs. Their associate head coach, Johnny Bryant, and then assistant coach Jordan Ott, both from Kenny Atkinson's staff in Cleveland. And apparently, Stricky, there's some smoke around Johnny Bryant for New York. He was an assistant there for a handful of years before this last season under Tom Thibodeau, and people are saying the front office really liked him. Problem is, he's one of the two front runners for Phoenix. So if New York wants to bring Johnny Bryant back to New York, they got to act in a hurry.
Where do you think he's going?
I don't know. I never heard the name Johnny Bryant before today.
I think if that comes up between those two, he's going to the desert.
Really? With as screwed as they are with the cap, you still think he goes to the desert?
I think he goes to the desert. Those guys weigh those things out too. If I'm having a discussion with them, what's your plan? Like, how are you going to get out of this? Because I'm not taking, I'm for real. I'll be candid with them. I'm not taking the brunt of anything that happens with what's going on here right now. So what's your plan for this? If I don't have a good answer to that plan, then I look to something that's a little bit more stable. But they still got some stuff that they need to do. How do you plan on addressing my depth problem? Okay, I like him. I need one or two more. How are you going to address this? Where are we going? Here's who I like. Can we make it happen? Depend on what they say. If nothing else, if these still are bad options, I still wait. I wait for the right situation, because there's nothing worse than going to a bad situation. And remember, they don't put the blame on the players. 2 years, if you don't make some adjustments, they're sending you out of there. You don't want your first coaching job to be that way.
Because that'll change how people look at you move forward. First impressions are everything. So that'll certainly be interesting to monitor. Let's go and take our final break of the show. Be back to wrap it up in just a moment.
Follow Austin Strick and On the Block on Twitter at Austin Orman, eStrick20, and On the Block 93.7. More of On the Block coming up.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait. Apply now.
Take control of your health with the DASH scan at Advanced Medical Imaging. The DASH scan is a full-body MRI designed for advanced health screening. This dynamic approach provides exceptionally sharp images across multiple organ systems, helping to detect potential concerns early. With minimal radiation and no invasive procedures, the DASH scan offers a safe, comprehensive look at your health. Plus, results are delivered faster than ever, giving both patients and physicians confidence in screening and diagnosis. Your health is too important to wait. Schedule your DASH scan today at Advanced Medical Imaging. Visit amimaging.com or call 402-484-6677 to learn more.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
Nebco is hiring CDL drivers for ready-mixed concrete in Lincoln. With 3 plants across the city, there are plenty of opportunities to start or grow your driving career. They offer great pay, medical and retirement benefits, paid time off, and they cover the cost of CDL training. Apply today and receive a $2,500 hiring bonus. Since 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today with ready-mixed concrete. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's nebcoinc.com.
It's never too late to start protecting your company's data from cyber attacks. Your customers put their trust in you to keep their information safe from online threats. Don't let them down. Partner with Hamilton Business Technologies to get real-time threat monitoring, advanced security protocols, and experts who monitor it all for you. We care about the success of your business and the communities you serve. Hamilton Business Technologies. Real people, real technology solutions. Connect with us at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100. Or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Copple Chevrolet GMC, and they're having the biggest hail sale they've ever had. A huge opportunity is at your front door right now. Some of these cars we're fixing, some we're not, and some it's totally up to you. New Sierra starting at $15,000 off list. New Canyons at $8,500 off list. New body styles on the Acadias, $3,000 off list. You need to hurry as there's going to be a lot of people heading to Louisville. Check us out at copplecars.com. Stock numbers G121492, G187747, and G196599.
Spring sports are here and it's time to upgrade your equipment. But don't go rush into your big box store. Play It Again Sports is your place to go for all spring sports equipment for baseball, softball, golf, and disc golf. Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And don't forget, buying from them is a great way to get new products with great discounts by also bringing in your used items for store credit or cash on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Are you looking to upgrade or improve the garage door on your home? This is Cameron Hall of Doors Plus. At Doors Plus, we guarantee to offer a wide selection of options from 5 leading garage door manufacturers as we deliver a free estimate, exact measurements, and rapid installation with a 3 to 5 week time frame. When you choose Doors Plus for your residential garage door needs, you'll work with our experienced technicians and be ensured that your new door seamlessly complements your home. Give us a call at 402-590-5800 or visit us online at DoorsPlusLLC.com. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
Schweizo Construction is now hiring for skilled craftsmen, steel erectors, concrete workers, and general laborers. Schweizo Construction offers great benefits like premium wages, health and dental insurance, paid holidays and vacation, 401k with company match, life insurance, and disability insurance. They pride themselves on a legacy of 40 years built on integrity and trust. Joining their team means becoming part of a family that values hard work, dedication, and mutual respect. Apply today at Schweizo.com. That's SCHWISOW.com.
Now back to On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
Back one final time here during On the Block for today. It's been a rainy Tuesday, but a great Tuesday here on the show. Appreciate everyone who has chimed in as we talk about Tom Thibodeau's firing and plenty more. Big thanks to Love Volleyball Omaha for their sponsorship of our final segment of the show as well. For New Year's season tickets or get them for the first time at LOVBOMA.com. All right, Strick, we talked about Danny Hurley. The next head. You riding a motorcycle or something over there?
Outside, one of them Harleys was rolling or something behind me. But real quick, I Y'all be on y'all phones too much for me to be on motorcycles. It's too risky these days. But did you hear what Karl Malone said about a little something?
No, what'd Karl Malone say?
Karl Malone said about he talks about facing LeBron James had it been in the late 90s when he was in his prime. He said if I would have faced LeBron James instead of Michael Jordan, I'd already have 2 rings and 2 finals MVPs without a doubt.
Dang, Karl.
That's gangster. That's gangster.
Oh my God. While we're on the NBA, Stricky, do you know which 2 teams in the NBA have the best record since January 1st?
2 teams?
2 teams with the best record in the NBA since January 1st.
OKC.
Mm-hmm.
Indiana.
And Indiana. The Thunder are 53-13 since January the 1st. The Indiana Pacers are 46-18 since January the 1st. You get 2 teams that are both hot, that are both playing some really good basketball. And, outside of the Thunder's scare against the Nuggets with the best player in the world, Nikola Jokic, not to say these teams haven't been tested, but Strick, I think they've handled the different challenges throughout the postseason really well. Yeah, maybe, Indiana got lucky with the Tatum Achilles injury, but it seems like they were on their way, or New York did, I guess, and before the Pacers beat them. But I don't think that was just injury luck. The Pacers got the quote-unquote easier opponent. New York was still up 3-1 in that series at the time. I think both these teams, despite not having been to this final stage before, despite not having finals experience, I think both these teams have proven over the long haul of the last 5 months that they are legitimately talented teams that deserve to be here. And I think they've been tested enough throughout these playoffs that sure, they might have some finals jitters, but I do think that both these teams will walk into the NBA Finals on Thursday pretty prepared for what they're going to see.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. When does it start? Tonight or tomorrow? I can't remember.
Thursday, 7:30.
Thursday. You got a couple of days. I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be a fun series. What do you say? 6, 7? What'd you say?
My initial reaction is Thunder in 6. That's what my gut tells me. I hear a lot of people saying Thunder in 5, and I think that's believable. I just love what Indiana does on offense. The way they move, the way they share the ball. They don't shoot a lot of threes, but they get good threes again from the corners like we talked about. I think Oklahoma City's the better team. They're a historically good regular season team. They've handled every challenge thrown their way. And I know you're a defense guy, Stricky. That's how you made your living. That was your calling card. But I still maintain that good offense beats good defense in basketball. Unless you steal the ball or block it, that shot has a chance to go in. And Indiana is a wildly efficient offense. I know the Thunder are too. I see a game or two that the Pacers can use their pace and space and really get out on the Thunder, who have had a propensity to let a game slip. Indiana's taken advantage of that with the miracle comebacks they've had in each of their first 3 rounds. So I don't think it's hopeless for the Pacers. I think just across the board on the margins, I like the Thunder a little bit better. Where are you at with it?
Yeah, I think I like the Thunder in the series. I think it's 6 as well, but I think ultimately the Thunder are not bend but don't break, right? I think they're going to lose a couple of games just because of the corners. And I think that's going to happen. I think as long as they shoot well out of the corners, they'll be fine. They'll adjust. They'll cover the corners. Then it's going to depend on what Halliburton and what Siakam are able to do with that room and that space.
Mm-hmm.
And if they can get in there and finish and drop off and do different things like that, that's where I think they could win, and push it to 7. Without that, I think it's going to be 6-2 OKC.
I think OKC's interior defense has been really good. They're a long, tall team, so if Indiana can spread the floor, that's going to help. And then, Strick, I think another X factor for Indiana is Miles Turner. How does he hold up at the rim with Shea and Jalen Williams, especially trying to get downhill? We will certainly see. Thanks for popping on, partner. Good to talk to you for a couple hours. Do it again tomorrow.
Yeah, man. See you down at the station.
It's a plan. That's Eastrick. I'm Austin. Big thanks to the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese for sponsoring On the Block. Don't go anywhere. We got Teammates Timeout with Demo and Ash. Looks like Demo and a special guest are in. You won't want to miss it. Teammates Timeout comes your way at 5. Load up on meat and more this summer at the